What does the wealthiest person you know do for work? A family friend retired after being a COBOL programmer for 30 years. About 2 years after his retirement, a company came to him and said name your salary, and he requested around $0.5 million/year. He was hired on the spot and still works there. The wealthiest person I know, and hang out with regularly, built a company, IT services, and then sold it for several $100 million. He now runs a company that does the same kind of IT services in a different field. He figured out a winning business formula and is just repeating it in a different market. It's a guy I work with. He started with one Jimmy John's franchise and turned it into 10 franchises. Ran them for 10 years, then sold them all and dumped the money into the stock market and real estate. He did this all while working as an airline pilot, currently still working at the airline. This dude owns and flies his own private jet on top of all that. My friend sold RuneScape Gold. He made a fortune. Inherited small factory from his father. Developed it to huge nationwide company. Still goes to work there every day, despite being worth hundreds of millions. Own their own conveyor belt business. Makes almost $2 million a year after it's all said and done. I know the owners of the Four Seasons hotel chain and the owner of Canada Goose. Both in tech. Friend is in a company about to IPO and is VP level, so will do well there. Her husband just sold his company, gaming company, to the biggest gaming company in China for, as she put it, life-changing money. Both very intelligent, super nice, crazy hardworking. They worked for it, and it couldn't happen to nicer people. They inherited a huge corporation. They just don't have to F it up. Edit, the grandson of the founder currently runs it. He has a sister and a brother as well. They own 10 auto dealerships and other things like a winery. The grandson told me in a meeting once that he knows he'd be working in a bank or as an accountant or something if he wasn't born into the family. Truck driver. Starting his own trucking company. I work for a lady who inherited /100 mil. She just buys real estate and sets them up as rentals. I just do general maintenance on them. I also rent from her. She lives like she's on a pension and pays me in magic beans half the time. A true embodiment of money does not buy happiness. I have tried many times to push her to go enjoy being so wealthy, but she lives with the mindset that because she does not have a partner, why bother buying a villa in Tuscany or jump on a flight to Bora Bora just to enjoy the beach and a nice seafood banquet. So she tends to sit on her couch and drink wine with the TV on in the background. I got a shock one day when she emptied a pillow slip of Krugerrands onto her kitchen bench. As it turns out, she has somewhere in the range of 2.5 mil in Krugers, Maples, and Sovereigns just sitting in pillow slips in her walk-in wardrobe. Found a diamond mine in the NWT. They own a large construction company, based in rural NZ. Employ heaps of people, are very generous to their hometown, humble too. Live off of generational money, doesn't work at all. I'm just too jealous to read anymore. Be seeing you all later. The first is a self-made multi-millionaire who's owned his own concrete finishing business since he was about 19. The second is a self-made millionaire who became a very successful accountant who was continually promoted at work, and AMP. He consistently bought stock and AMP, real estate from a young age. The last person is a millionaire who will inherit family money, and AMP. She's a high-end real estate agent. Worked for a tech company and got paid bonuses for years in the form of company stock. He and his wife decided that when the stock hit zero, they'd sell all his shares. It was somewhere around -10 for most of the years he worked. It suddenly started rising in 98, and mid-99 hit zero. They sold millions worth of stock. Then the company's value burst, along with a lot of other tech companies, during the dot-com bust. If they'd waited a week, their values would have been worthless. They reinvested the money and diversified everything and have been living comfortably ever since. He still works 60 to 70-hour weeks because he likes working. My ex-father-in-law used to own a huge factory that made Nike and Adidas shoes in the 80s and early 90s. That's right, sneakerheads. Big sneaker companies don't actually make any of these shoes. Sure, they design them, but they outsource them to an OEM manufacturing plant/company in Asia, pivoted to real estate investments/developments. Imagine having the $4,189 to buy real estate and land at 80s and 90s prices, and is now worth 50 mil plus. Complete hypocrite and a sociopath though. Treated service workers like slaves, rude AF, and was a generally unpleasant person to be around. Sure, he's rich, but he sure seemed unhappy all the time. My dad, he does a bunch of random things. He retired from the Navy and uses his retirement pay to invest in real estate. He became a photographer after retiring and did really well for himself. Now he has contracts with a load of schools and sells off temporary subcontracts to budding photographers for schools he doesn't have the time to work with. He flips cars in his spare time, but right now his day job is high school business teacher. Wealthiest I know is myself. Make a little over $120K being a UPS driver.